All right, everybody, here comes attempt number 2 at terminating decimals. For your sake, I'm making this video twice because the first video went almost 15 minutes, and I don't even want to watch 15 minutes on terminating decimals. So let's go ahead and dive right in. To terminate a decimal means you have a decimal that ends or terminates. And there's lots of different examples of terminating decimals. Here's 3 of them. 0.25 is a terminating decimal. 9.125 is a terminating decimal, terminating because there's no continuation of the decimal. And, well, there's a 0 in front of that. And let's say 12.3. That's a terminating decimal also. Now, our whole goal of this mini lesson is to get terminating decimals to turn into fractions. And it's the easiest thing to turn them into fractions as long as you know one basic thing. You need to know what the last number's place value is. And I can write down the place values if we need to, but this might slow us down if we need them. I'm going to remind you that the first place value is what's called the tenths place, T-E-N-T-H-S. So this would be 2/10, but because there's another place value behind it, this one happens to be the hundredths, D-T-H-S, always with the T-H-S. This is 25 hundredths. That's how you would say it. So 25 hundredths or 25 hundredths. That's it. You've turned a decimal into a fraction. Now, we'll need to simplify, but let's not worry about that right now. Otherwise, we'll be at 15 minutes again. So here we go. 9.1, that's tenths. We don't need that one, though, because there's more. Hundredths. And then you could probably guess the next one is thousandths. So this would be 9 and 125 thousandths. Once again, decimal to fraction, done. You could imagine it can happen the same way here. This would be 3/10, 3/10. I shouldn't have had that dot there, but I can't erase a Sharpie. So 12 and 3/10, done. And of these 3, the only one that's officially complete is this one, because 3 and 10 don't have any common factors. Now, way back in the day, one way that your teachers taught you to simplify fractions is to find a common factor. Like in this case, they might both divide by 5. And 25 divided by 5 is 5, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. Oops, looks like I didn't get all my common factors. So I'll divide them down again by 5. And this is one of the disadvantages in common factors. But you do often get the correct answer at the end, as long as you know what the common factors are and you have the patience and the ability to continue simplifying the whole way to the end. However, I want to show you a new technique. The new technique is really only necessary for those people that have struggled with simplifying fractions in the past. It's gonna be a completely new way to do it. It's based on the old style of doing the math, but it is a new technique. So I'm going to show this new technique twice for fear of being too lengthy in the video. I'm going to show one problem that we just did. It's the 0.25 problem, or 0.25. Now we just did this one, so we know the answer is 1/4. Let me show you the new way to do this, though. Once you get your hundredths place, there's the 100, right? Hundredths place, so 25 hundredths. Here's what you do. You use prime factorization for the bottom, and you break down your 100 into 10 and 10, 5 and 2, and 5 and 2. And you get yourself a nice line of prime factors. But you do the same thing on the top, working from bottom up. 25 breaks down to 5 and 5. It doesn't break down anymore, so I have my nice line of of prime factors. And now I'm going to grab red because I'm about to cancel stuff out. Any common factor pairs on the top and the bottom that exist in the top and the bottom, I can cross off. So 5 and 5, cross off. Another 5 with another 5, cross off. Now, I don't have anything else to cross off, so I'm done. I have a fraction. On the bottom is 2 times 2. And it doesn't make any sense to leave a fraction with a missing blank. So I'm going to put a 1 there as a place value. And there's my 1/4. And this gives you the ability to use prime factorization, a skill most of you have developed very nicely, into simplifying fractions. So here's what I would like you to do. If you've watched the video this far, and I'm going to try to keep this short, what I would like you to do on an index card is I would like you to take 9.125. I would like you to turn that into a fraction, or in this case, it's going to be a mixed number. I want you to do that on your index card. Once you're done with that, once you get a mixed number, then I want you to go ahead and take that mixed number. It'll be, well, let's not pretend it's not going to be. it'll be 9 and something somethings, okay? I want you to take that something somethings and I want you to go ahead and factor tree it. I want you to factor tree the top number up, however many branches it might take until you have yourself a nice row of numbers, however many you get. And I want you to take your number that's on the bottom, the denominator, and branch it off as well. Once again, as many times as it takes until you get yourself a nice row of numbers. I don't know how many that's going to be. Cross off using a pen or a pencil anything that's in common. Whenever you're done crossing off all that you can, I want you to remultiply, getting a new fraction, and that new fraction should be simplest form. This should be simplified. This one you're going to turn in. All right, so if you've watched the video this far, this is a good way for me to know if you've watched it or not. If you've watched the video this far, you'll know that this is the expectation, that you'll turn this into a mixed number. You've already seen how. You'll use prime factorization. You're going to show this math on your index card. If it's not there, I'll know you didn't follow directions. And then you're going to cross off common factors. You're going to write down a simplified form, and you're going to turn this in. All right, so good luck turning decimals into fractions and then simplify.